On Global TV News Express, Tinubu reshuffles Southeast Development Commission Board nominees. In business, Nigerians' capital importation falls by 51.90% in Q3 2024. And on our foreign scene, embattled Macron seeks boost from Notre Dame reopening. In sports, Kenya football picks new leader amid concern on CHAN delays. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has again made significant changes to the proposed leadership of the Southeast Development Commission, submitting a reverse list of nominees to the Senate for confirmation. The updated list features new appointments aimed at strengthening the Commission's capacity to drive development in the Southeast region. A State House press release says Tinubu replaced the initial chairman nominee Emeka Tuma with Dr. Emeka Wogu. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has visited Imo State to thank the people of their support in the last general election that brought her husband, President Tinubu, to power. Here is Amarachi Ibe's story.
Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who was in company of wife of the Vice President, wife of governors and senators, took center stage expressing profound gratitude to the people of Imo State for the overwhelming support.
I'm here to say we are very, very grateful that you stood by us. And without God, without you all, I won't be standing here as the First Lady.
In her address, she praised the resilience and dedication of Nigerians, urging citizens to work hard and bring back the country's glory.
We are all Nigerians, and the good of Nigeria belongs to all of us. It's not to some selected few, but only those who are ready to work hard. Hard work never kills.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma in his remark welcomed the First Lady and thanked President Bola Tinubu for the support he has shown to Imo State. He acknowledged the country's current challenges and prayed for divine wisdom for the President to lead the nation effectively.
Only today, we received 50 trailers of rice to be sold at 40,000. So today in Nigeria, we have taken our own share of the global remedy. We have taken our own share of the sufferance of this economic policy. And our prayer is that in wisdom of Almighty God, that the dividends will soon start begin to manifest.
Chairman of the Southeast Traditional Rulers Council, His Royal Majesty Eze Imo Okeke, commended the First Lady for fulfilling her promise to visit. He described her visit as a gesture of unity and inclusiveness.
On behalf of the traditional rulers of Igbo State, to welcome Her Excellency to Igbo State, the most hospitable state in the country, the heartland of Eastern Nigeria. Our candid prayer is that the good Lord will guide Mr. President, protect him, and grant him excellent wisdom to balance the affair of this great country, Nigeria, in good health.
Highlight of the day was a captivating cultural performance by the Omenimo Dance Group, which thrilled the audience and showcased the rich cultural heritage of the region. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Amarachi, for that report. The senator representing Kwara Central Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Saliu Mustafa, has called for the inclusion of retired permanent secretaries in governance and policy-making processes. Speaking at the annual conference of the Association of Retired Permanent Secretaries, Kwara chapter in Ilorin, Mustafa said Nigeria needed to further make us invaluable experience and wisdom of the seasoned administrators, describing them as pillars upon which Nigeria has stood. Mustafa, who was represented by retired Permanent Secretary Kali Yusuf, highlighted the role the seasoned administrators could play in addressing Nigeria's challenges. Over now to the Federal Road Safety Corps. FRSC has warned motorists to desist from exceeding the 100 km/h speed limit on expressways as the festive season approaches. Speeding, according to FRSC, is one of the major causes of road accidents, which must be curbed to save the lives of commuters. The Corps gave the warning amid the alarming rate of road accidents in the country. According to the recent data from the FRSC and the National Bureau of Statistics, more than 21,500 lives have been lost to road crashes in the past 4 years in the country. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it will strengthen collaboration with airlines, operators, and other aviation stakeholders in the South-South to also ensure seamless airline operations in the zone. The acting director of the authority, Chris Najomu, said this in his address at the inauguration of the Port Harcourt Regional Office Building at the Port Harcourt International Airport, Omogwa, in the Ikwe local government area of River State. Najomu stated that the new faculty, which came to realization after 22 years in the offering onshore scores, the authorities resolved to decentralize operations and bring services closer to stakeholders and enhance the flow of communication and operations within the zone. Muslim community have been thrown into mourning following the passing of one of its most reverend figures, Alhaji Muhyiddin Bello, born in 1940 in Ibadan. Alhaji Bello was widely respected for his profound teachings and unwavering dedication to Islamic scholarship. The announcement of his demise was made by another prominent Islamic cleric, Alfa Arabi Desi of Atawadin Islamic Dawal, this morning. The presidency has stated that France is not taking over Nigeria's mining sector, solid minerals of security rights, contrary to speculations on social media. These speculations were thrown from President Bola Tinubu's recent state visit to France, when Nigeria and France signed a memorandum of understanding to develop joint projects to promote and diversify both countries' critical mineral value chains in the solid mineral sector. Special advisor to the President of Media and Public Communications, Sunday Diary, in a statement issued on X, clarified that Nigeria did not sign away its mining rights. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, has disclosed that the federal government has begun payment of pensions and other entitlements to retired military personnel, including 3 months arrears. The minister made this known in a statement issued in Abuja by the Director of Information and Public Relations. Ministry of Defense Henshaw Ogubike recalled that retired military personnel had halted activities at the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja to protest their unpaid entitlements, expressing their frustrations over the federal government's failure to pay the promised 20% to 28% salary increment from January to November 2024. However, Matawalle said that the government has begun payment of military salary increases and the military personnel have already started receiving alerts for payment. And now to matters of education. Lord Mayor of Leeds City, United Kingdom, Abigail Katung, has advocated a multi-dimensional strategy to boost education quality in Nigeria. Katung made the call while delivering the 22nd convocation lecture at Nigerian University, Okada, underscoring the need for quality education in Nigeria. The Nigerian British-born politician, while citing systematic challenges, said as in inadequate funding and outdated curriculum as factors hindering its development, advocated the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, remanded budgetary provisions, transparency, and effective resource utilization as strategies to enhance learning quality. In the meantime, the Minister of Education, Morufu Alausa, has assured academic unions that the President Bola Tinubu-led administration will honor agreements reached with them, while assuring that the remaining 50% of withheld salaries will be paid. Alausa, however, urged labor unions, particularly those in the educational sector, to prioritize the welfare and education of Nigerian students by choosing dialogue over strike actions. His appeal was directed at the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Unions of Educational and Associated Universities, and the National Association of Academic Technologies. Alausa emphasized that industrial action should be a last resort, used only after all other options have been exhausted. Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Bayo Onanuga, has said work is currently ongoing at the 150,000 barrels per day plant of the Port Harcourt Refining Company in Rivers State. The President, aided in a post on X titled, said the lies and doubts about the refinery have been dismissed by the team's fact-finding mission. Onanuga also said the 60,000 BPD refinery is operating at 70% of installed capacity and plans to increase production shortly, adding that the refinery receives regular crude oil contrary to claims of lacking the product. The federal government has launched the 2024 Hazard Risk Countrywide Analysis. This analysis is aimed at strengthening disaster preparedness and mitigation efforts across the country. It is against the backdrop that the Vice President Kashim Shettima called for enhanced collaboration among stakeholders to address Nigeria's vulnerabilities to disasters and climate change, as well as building a safer and more resilient Nigeria. Shettima, speaking during the launch event in Abuja, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to safeguarding lives and livelihoods from the ecological and other risks. The lawmaker representing Delta Central Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Ede Dafonone, has expressed sorrow over the death of the President General of Okoma Community in Ughelli South Local Government Area, Pat James Oheroko, who reportedly died in military detention on December 4th, 2024. In a statement made available to journalists in Warri, Delta State, Dafonone condemned the circumstances surrounding Oheroko's death and called for the immediate and unconditional release of 5 other community leaders detained by the Nigerian military since August. Detained individuals include Professor Arthur Ekpekpo, Chief Belvis Odogbo, Pa Dennis Okobaye, Pa Anthony Homu Warrior, and Rita Okata. An inferno has razed tailoring shops at the new modern market in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital, destroying goods worth millions of naira. The fire started on Thursday night at about 9:30 p.m. and lasted till the early hours of Friday. It was, however, difficult for the personnel of the Nasarawa State Fire Service to put off the fire owing to the heaps of refuse dumps in and around the marketplace. You're watching News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where News Express returns. Nigerian trade surplus hit 5 trillion naira. Details of this, as well as business and sports stories, coming right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Express on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. On our business desk, the federal government statutory allocations to the National Assembly and the National Judicial Council in 2024 hit a total sum of 564 billion naira in October. In February, the House of Representatives pushed for 5% of the country's yearly budget to be allocated to the federal legislature and judiciary. The Green Chamber initiated a process to amend Nigeria's Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007 by inserting Section 51, subsection A, which would make provision for the allocation to the National Assembly and the Federal Judiciary in the Appropriation Act for each year. Nigeria's total capital importation of the third quarter of 2024 witnessed a 51.90% decline from the previous quarter, falling to $1.25 billion. This drop compared to the $2.60 billion recorded in Q2 2024 highlights a sharp contraction in foreign investments despite an overall annual increase of 91.35% from Q3 2024. The latest capital importation report by the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that while Nigerians' capital importation showed substantial growth year on year, there was a notable retreat in inflows compared to the preceding quarter. Nigeria has recorded a trade surplus of 5.81 trillion naira in the third quarter of 2024, reflecting a remarkable rise in export earnings, according to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics. However, the surplus recorded in Q3 2024 is far lower than the 6.95 trillion naira trade surplus recorded in the previous quarter. The Bureau in its foreign trade statistics noted that Nigeria's merchandise trade for the Q3 this year was a total value of 35.16 trillion naira, marking an 81.35% increase compared to the same period in 2023 and a 13.26% rise from the previous quarter. Total exports for quarter surged by 98,000% to 20.49 trillion naira compared to 10.35 trillion naira in Q13 2023. On our foreign scene, Burkina Faso's ruling party leader dismissed the country's prime minister and dissolved the government according to the presidential decree. The sacked premier had served at the head of 3 successive governments, surviving each reshuffle. No reason was given for the dismissal, but Apollonary Jackson Yellen de Tabella, who was named as premier in October 2022 at the coup that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power. A gravely weakened President Emmanuel Macron hopes to win a new lease to political life from ceremonial reopening of Notre Dame. Joined by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, Prince William, and other international figures, including Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, Macron will seek to present the renovated cathedral as a symbol of France's inner reserve of creative strength. In a speech marking the occasion, he will urge the world to see beyond the country's current political crisis and admire the determination, organization, and hard craft that rescued one of France's most famous buildings in just 5 years. Over now to sports. After a long wait, a new chairman has been sworn in to steer the affairs of Delta State Sports Commission for the next 4 years. He is Onorode Obawere, a former player of Fingers Football Club of Warri. He took over from Chief Tanobok Okowa, who vacated the position in February this year after the completion of his 8-year tenure. Governor Obawere assured all athletes, coaches, and staffs of Delta State Commission that the new board would ensure the success of Team Delta at the fast approaching 22nd National Sports Festival in Ogun State in January 2025. Members of Kenya's Football Federation will elect a new leader as concerns mount over the country's preparation to host the African Nations Championship. Members of the Football Kenya Federation will hold their long-delayed election after months of controversy and litigation. Ongoing President Nick Wook was arrested in November 2021 after a government investigation uncovered alleged financial irregularities and caretaker committee was put in place to run the FKF. However, global footballing body FIFA intervened and forced the Kenyan government to reinstate the FKF board, while corruption charges against Wokdawa were dropped after the state failed to provide any evidence against him. President Bola Tinubu has again made significant changes to the proposed leadership of the Southeast Development Commission, submitting a reverse list of nominees to the Senate for confirmation. In business, total capital importation for the third quarter of 2024 witnessed a 51.90% decline from previous quarter, falling to 1.25%. On our business desk, a gravely weakened President Emmanuel Macron hopes to win a new lease of political life from ceremonial reopening in Notre Dame. And in sports, members of Kenya Football Federation will elect a new leader as concerns mount over the country's preparation to host the African Nations Championship. And that's it on News Express on Global TV, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using a Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.